Hello, friends. I have been gone for a week, but I'm back now. I got to go on vacation, which was really nice. So if this is your first time, if you're watching this on the playback, hi, I'm Sarah, and um, this is a place for people who are deconstructing their faith, questioning their faith, and basically just, want a place to talk about it. And to ask questions. Hey, Kyle. How's it going? Hi, Bailey. Good to see you. Spark, hello, hello. Hi, Dr. Joe. Minnie, hi. Oh, it's good to see you guys. I was gone all last week, but I am back now. Um, so, yeah, happy to be back. Hi, Michelle. Oh, wow. Okay, does that seem good, Kyle? Hi, Walt. Yeah, I get that. I get that for sure, Kyle. I think a lot of religions have good parts to them, but it's hard to find one that is actually, as a whole, good. Yeah, for sure, Dr. Joe. Some spiritual habits and practices have utility. Hey, skeptic, good to see you. Well, for anyone who's new, hi, I'm Sarah, and this is a place for people who are deconstructing and questioning, and just kind of want to hang out and ask questions, and not feel alone. Oh, well, thanks, Blake. I appreciate it. Yeah, Michelle, I didn't do my usual debate last night on TikTok. I've been traveling, so I'm back now. Charles, hi. Hey, JC. What's that, Kyle? Vacation was good. Yeah. Yeah, it was really nice. Bailey says, I'm struggling to see Christianity as good, and it makes it hard to see Christians as good because I don't understand how anyone's okay with some of the things God does. Yeah. And I do think that a lot of the people who are Christians, who are good people, are doing a lot of cognitive dissonance. And one of the weird things I think about being human is we're able to, for a while, hold contradictory ideas at the same time. And so I think, if your belief is really important to you, you sort of find ways to put the hard things in a box. And did I do surfing? No, maybe it's like some boogie boarding, but there were not big waves. Oh, well, I hope your travels are at least good. Holy moly. You subscribe to me to say that? Wow. Um, Kyle says, ever heard of people getting organ transplants and taking on behaviors of that person? I have not read like any scientific literature that suggests that. Yeah, thanks, JC. If there's a way to ban that person, we probably should do that. That seems, I mean, I think that was pretty clear violent threat. So I don't know how to do that. If there's a way to ban that person, though, we should. Moo, is that a an expletive in surprise or oh, gotcha. Okay, JC. Well, that's fine. Charles knows everything. When in doubt, ask Charles. Oh, Michelle, thank you so much for the super chat. Hi, Miss Michelle. That's good to see you. Thanks for coming. I appreciate it. Yeah, Skeptic says, amazing how some people's true colors come out when they're anonymous on the internet. I agree, Skeptic, and I'm always so curious. Like, what is that person like in their everyday life? You know? Yeah, Charles is the goat for sure. um, Rob, are you answering a question with that comment, or did I miss a previous comment? Hi, Rachel. Yeah, Michelle says, I try to be a good person, no God needed. Yeah, I believe you. Definitely. And I think sometimes trying to follow the God of the Bible makes it harder to be a good person. Ah, Charles, you deserve it. Hi, Miracle. Seth says, Sarah on Sunday, as Gimli would say, this is a thing unheard of, but most welcome. I love that. Oh, Messi or Ronaldo, those are both soccer players, right? I'm both too lame and probably too American to have a preference. They're taking the hobbits to Isengard. I'm always here for the Lord of the Rings, for sure. Oh, I gotcha. Rob says, there's a church I'm a part of out of state. Hard to explain in a comment, but my best friend, who's like my brother, is a leader. I feel pressured by him to participate. Oh, I'm sorry. That's really tough. Yeah, Rachel, I grew up on Harry Potter. Hey, Chip, good to see you. Welcome. No worries. I think we're gonna have kind of a slow, chill day today, which is good. Oh, Seth says Harry Potter was banned in my household. Yeah, I know. It's true for a lot of Christians. I did get a new extension cord. Yes, for anyone who saw the horror of my extension cord previously, this is my new one. It looks safe. It does not have any holes in it. So I didn't throw it out yet. This was, oops, this was my previous one. That is not safe, but I got a new one. Thank you to you all. Why did you leave Christianity? The short answer is that I just stopped believing that it was true. The longer answer, I have a video in my FAQ playlist that goes through my whole deconstruction process. Yay! I know. I'm yeah, really, honestly, I would never have gotten a new one if it wasn't for you all. So thank you for my brand new shiny extension cord thingy. Yay! You're a wizard, Harry. Potatoes. I love the potato part, Kyle. Miracle, the thing is, yeah, we're very well informed about Christianity. And if God can come down at any time, then great. I'm waiting for that to happen. Hi, Em. No, Rachel, actually, I almost never eat salad. Minnie, that's like a Burger King commercial. Yes, exactly, skeptics. Or look at the trees, right? Michelle says, if God came down in front of me, I would be mad at him. Yeah, I would certainly have quite a few questions. Kyle, my favorite Gimli quote is, we dwarves are natural sprinters, very dangerous over short distances. Rob, it seems like this church is really causing you some distress. Do you have to go? Like, is this a situation in which you could set some boundaries and start to get some distance? What about second breakfast? I don't think he knows about second breakfast. Hi, Lord. That's great, Kyle. My dad loves Lord of the Rings, and he is like kind of like an OG fan where he is he's read all the books and all the like books about the books, and there's the Silmarillion that's like an index of all the books, or I don't know. I know a lot just simply because of my dad. Same skeptics. Chip says, can I get some atheist tots and pears? Rough week here. Emergency abdominal surgery Tuesday and tonight. I broke my left pinky toe. Oh my God. That's a terrible week. I hope you're okay. I guess if you're back home from your surgery, you're at least kind of okay. How long did it take you to not fear hell? So my whole deconstruction process from like starting to question to not believing in God was probably about a year. And once I stopped believing in God, I stopped believing in hell. And so for me, that fear of hell left when my belief in God left. I would say though it's so normal, like so many people will comment like, hey, I don't even think I believe in God anymore, but I still have this fear of hell. So you're definitely not alone in that. Helping says, Sarah, your dad must be awesome. Not many LOTR fans make it to the other material. Oh yeah, no, my dad is great. He's super nerdy. And anytime I have a Lord of the Rings question, I can just text him, no context, ask him the question. He'll just text me the answer back and we'll never even ask. He's just like my Lord of the Rings dictionary. Well, I'm glad it's going okay, Chip. Rusty says, said in a previous comment, deleted, I truly believe in another side due to the amount of near-death experiences I've studied. What is after this life is... Yeah, I mean, Rusty, I agree with you that a lot of people have near-death experiences. I mean, a lot is relative, but that is something that many people experience. And certainly, like, I don't know for sure what happens when we die. My best guess is that it's nothing and that we cease existing, but I can't know that for sure. So yeah, I completely understand why someone would think that there's some kind of afterlife. What does he think of the new Rings of Power series? I think he watched it, but wasn't like super into it. Well, congrats, Phil. Is anyone familiar with the second law of thermodynamics? Sure. Slacker says, I would highly suggest considering consciousness is universal. I'm not sure what that actually means. Do you ever have doubts about leaving the faith? No, I mean, again, I left because I just stopped believing it was true. And that was back in 2009. And I just haven't believed since. Oh, that's awesome, Kyle. Well, thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. Mike says, much respect to you. I'm a believer, but I also totally respect your decision. I appreciate that. I will tell you, I did not choose to stop believing. It was something that happened to me. Your inner bot. Michelle says, I think I'm over the angry stage now and into the how did I ever believe that stage. Yeah, that's hard too. It is. Yeah. Hey, Lord Megatron, praise Doug. Yeah, Skeptic says, I'm in the boat that no belief is voluntary. Yeah, like I think there are lots of things that we can choose that are sort of surrounding belief, but I don't think you can consciously decide what you want to believe because then you wouldn't even have any connection to truth. Doug would definitely be paper. I told Justin to come out and come on the channel tonight, but he's going to bed. Lame. Mike says, I at times struggle with this whole Christianity thing. I just constantly see so much hypocrisy and double standards in church. Well, I mean, that's fair. Yeah. Walt says, when I told my sibling I left Christianity, he simply said, oh, you'll come back. Did you get that reaction at all? Yeah, I think that's what my parents still think, honestly. And I think it's more about that person comforting themselves than anything else, but it's certainly frustrating to hear. That's why coffee exists. Oh, Kingdom of Light, quoting Jeremiah 29. Um, that one bugs me quite a bit because why Christians think that one verse in that one chapter in that one book is for them, but the rest of it is not. This is clearly God is speaking to a specific person about a specific thing. And the verse that sounds really nice, Christians decide is for them for now. It's talking actually to them. But the rest of it's clearly just talking to Jeremiah. Well, I'm sincerely glad that you got better, Rob. Another 3 days of darkness? No, that would not prove God. Um, I, I mean, if God came down and talked to us, that would be proof. What verse in Jeremiah? Oh, that's Jeremiah 29:11. So if we had darkness for 3 days, it depends on how, like, what mechanism that would be. Um, if it does happen, you will all know. Okay, tell you what, Frankie, if there is darkness over the entire planet because the sun has shut off, um, I will come look into you for answers. You're welcome, Rob. Yeah, I think if at all possible, if you can still set some boundaries with your friend, that might be helpful. Just, whatever it is you need to communicate what you're comfortable with and what you're not. Okay, Frankie, then I won't come to you. Yeah, JC says, I never met anyone who loved me, who required to tell me by other people instead of themselves. Yeah, like why doesn't God just talk to us himself? Raging says, if hell is defined as separation from God and someone doesn't believe in God or doesn't want to be with God, where would they go if not hell? Well, that's a question for your God, not for me. If you believe in the Christian God, the entire idea that hell is defined as separation from God has pretty weak biblical credibility. So yeah, I think that would be more of an internal question. One point of view, was it like that when you were a Christian, you were too afraid of hell that the only solution was to denounce Christianity? No, if I was too afraid of hell, then I would be too afraid to denounce Christianity. I just genuinely stopped believing it was real. What version of hell do you believe is the most biblically credible? I honestly don't think the Bible is clear about it at all. Probably annihilation is the most consistent, that we just perish, that you eternally die, like you have eternal death. And then maybe second place would be like the eternal torment. But it is interesting how much Christians disagree with each other about what hell is. If something like eternal torment is on the line, you would think that God would make that absolutely crystal clear, and that we would know exactly how we get there or don't get there. In the annihilationist version, would you say people can be deserving of that? I mean, deserving is, I don't know if I put it that way, like I think that that's what's going to happen to all of us anyway. I think we're just going to cease existing. So, I think people who are annihilationists also kind of feel like, well, God made humans immortal, but and they will just die at the end. But if you're a Christian, then you get this special gift of eternal life. And so it's like everyone gets the same thing except for these Christians who get this cool extra gift. And so in that sense, sure. Were you ever a leader in a church? So I Yeah, I was in my mid-20s when I stopped believing. I was on worship team. I taught Sunday school. I helped with the youth group. So I mean, if that counts as a leader. Hi, Brenda. Oh, from Ireland. Hello. Brenda says, "What do you believe now?" So I don't believe in anything supernatural anymore. I, I, but I am an agnostic atheist. Like, I think there's a lot of things that I just don't know, and a lot of things I can't prove. So, I don't have enough evidence to believe in anything supernatural, but I can't prove that there is not anything supernatural. Raging says, yeah, I'm an annihilationist myself because it makes more sense. Yeah, I mean, it certainly is way less cruel than eternal conscious torment. Oh, helping, thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Helping MAGA Deconstruct says, thank you for an easygoing atmosphere for people questioning their faith. I feel your approach is needed. I try to send nice Christians to you. I send the ones with typical Christian love to Justin. Yeah, Justin definitely has a different vibe for sure, but I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you. I do enjoy having a more chill atmosphere for sure. Yeah, so Slacker's saying that consciousness continues on after we die. And I mean, I cannot prove that that is false. I just don't have any reason to believe that it's true. Rish asks, do nice Christians believe in polytheism? I doubt it. Oh, thanks, Miss Michelle. Oh, I do love that, an atmosphere of learning. I think, discussions about belief in God carry so much weight and so much defensiveness because it is such a deeply felt topic, and it is really difficult to have conversations without so much I don't know, so much need to win and need to be right, especially when you're talking to strangers. So that's, yeah, if you feel like it's an atmosphere of learning, I take that as a very big compliment. Thanks, Jesus. Oh, well, good luck, Chip. I hope you feel better. I hope you get some sleep. I tried to get, I've had my dad on a live before. He's still a Christian, but it's one of those rare people that you can have those kinds of learning conversations with. Oh, thank you. Raging says, by the way, I'm enjoying the Evangelical Bible study so much. You guys give very valid questions, concerns, and perspectives. Thanks. I really appreciate you watching that. Yeah, so if anyone is interested on my page, I have a series with Justin from Deconstruction Zone. Okay, Kyle. No, I have not watched the latest Jubilee video. I don't subscribe to Jubilee. It's just like if things come across my feed in some way. Rob, I think you would find my, I have a video in my FAQ playlist. I think you'd find that helpful. How many other religions taught the same thing over and over again? I'm not sure I understand what you're asking, Kyle. What is Jubilee? I mean, it's a show that, like, have you ever seen, it's like a YouTube channel, a YouTube show where they have like one person sits at like a little desk and then they're surrounded by people who have some opposing viewpoint and like the people run up and debate that person. Sounds good, Rob. Oh, Jubilee has terrible moderation. Oh, well, there you go. Slacker says Hermeticism is oh, why did my little light go out? Stay in there, little light. I don't know what Hermeticism is. Are your YouTube lives usually more chill than your TikTok lives? You know, YouTube is, I'm still figuring it out. This is maybe slightly smaller than usual for YouTube because I'm usually on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And so this is an unusual night. So we're a little smaller than usual here tonight. So it is usually more chill, but you never know. YouTube can get kind of wild. Oh yeah, helping, that was great. Jordan Peterson, it drives me absolutely crazy. Ugh. Oh, Kyle, so are you asking like how, like what traditions did Christianity take from prior religions? Okay, yeah, I thought you might have, Michelle. Yeah. Clips from those kind of make the rounds. Yeah, Kyle, I have no idea. Maybe Justin would know from Deconstruction Zone. He might know something like that. Matthew, hi. That's good to see you. Well, Abood, if you want to learn English, you certainly can hang out if this is helpful, but it might not be the most helpful place for that. Yeah, Michelle, the Jordan Peterson debate was... Ugh. Hi, Checkers. What you doing? Mr. Wendell says, so is this a channel with the belief that there isn't a higher consciousness or believe, oh, thanks, Kyle. Your nature app. So I think to answer your question, Mr. Windles. I personally am not convinced that there is a higher power. But I am agnostic about it. Like, I can't prove that there is not. Hi, have to. Well, Kyle, I really appreciate you becoming a member. Thanks. And related, if anyone is interested, I'm almost finished. I've created this like PDF document about checkers. Really, that's not for you. Called Healing Through Movement with, so my profession, I'm a physiologist with a specialization in exercise and nutrition. And so I just created kind of like a little how-to guide if you're wanting to get into exercise and move around more and the mental health benefits of that. So I'll have that available hopefully soon if that's interesting to anyone. Yeah, if you hear the little tippy taps, that's checkers. Here, wait. Sorry, you're gonna have to forgive my mess here. Oops. Checkers, what you doing? Are you getting into trouble? Yeah? Are you in trouble? Are you gonna come up and say hi? Yeah? You're gonna eat shoes instead? You're a little troublemaker. She really wants to get inside that box. Whoop, hi. You wanna come up? Come say hi. I hope she jumps up. It's so cute when she jumps. Yep, whoop. There you go. Hi, baby. This is Checkers. Yeah, it's basically like having a cat. Oh, good bunny. Good bunny. Yeah. So now you know Checkers. Oh, what does that mean, Mr. Windles? Hi, bun. I'm glad you guys got to see her jump up. It's so cute when she does that. Calvin, by the way, love Calvin and Hobbes. You're painting this picture of this God who just loves people so much, but the entire idea that God had to sacrifice himself because that's the only way he could forgive his people is actually not a good story. That's not describing a good and loving God. A good and loving God would be able to forgive without anyone having to die. Thank you so much for the super chat. Rob says Checkers snack fund. It's really cute when she eats too. If anyone's interested, we can get her a carrot and she'll eat a little carrot. It's so cute. Hi, Joey. Oh, thank you, Brenda. And technically, he prayed to himself. Yeah, that whole thing is kind of iffy, for sure. Should we feed the bunny? Okay. Yeah, well, rabbit food is like, mostly they eat hay. They eat this special kind of hay, but then they get a salad every day. Should we get you some carrot? Hang on, little buns. So, yeah, they're really cute when they eat anything. Oh, that's interesting. Non-duality. Okay. Let's see. She only gets a piece of the carrot. She's not supposed to have the whole thing. Also, here's my fish. Ta-da. Hi, Checkers. Do you want some carrot? Okay, here you go. Oh, wait, let me flip this. Hey, I'm coming. Oh, okay. Oh, but you missed it. Come back and get it, you goober. She doesn't want me to take it away from her. I'm going to eat a carrot. She really loves carrots. Big fan of carrots. A little ASMR for your evening. Well, there you go, cutie pie. Crunch, 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 crunch. Oh, it makes her cheeks look so big. Well, there you all have your Checkers fix for the day. I love feeding her carrots. It's so cute. You're very welcome. Let's see. Samuel says, how long did it take for you to deconstruct, and do you have any advice for anyone also trying to deconstruct? Hi, Samuel. So the process for me of like starting to question until I stopped believing in God was about a year. People have huge variety though in how long it takes. There are some places that you can definitely get some support. So yeah, if you look just like 3 comments down, Charles has a link there to recoveringfromreligion.org. They are a nonprofit organization that it's volunteer, and they have a lot of support. They have like support groups and resources, and so I would definitely recommend them as well. You are not just a wave, you are the ocean appearing as a wave. Oh, interesting. You know, I've heard people when they're talking about like some of their near-death experiences say things like, you know, you were kind of this drop of water, but now you just are a drop of water, but join the whole ocean. Is it sort of similar to that? Oh, Kyle, thank you so much. Kyle with the $20 super chat. Super chat for carrots. I will buy her all the carrots. Thank you. And Michelle says, seeing Checkers makes me happy, but bunnies don't chew cud. Yeah, is that reference to what chapter is it? Or what book is it? Like Leviticus or Exodus? Checkers is generating carrot funds. Well, I will absolutely honor that and use that to buy her more treats. I promise. She will be very happy. Well, and at some point, I'll show you guys my second bunny. Meatball is my other bunny, and she is very shy, so we don't see her as much. Oh, that's interesting. Helping says, how people treat their pets is often a better indicator of someone's character than anything else. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I suppose it would be really disconcerting if I watched someone like mistreat their pet. Big W, yes. You are the mirror, not the reflections in it. Like, I understand that it's a metaphor, but I can't really wrap my head around what that actually means. Thanks, Kristen, for the cute bunny. Kristen says, so many Christians have very real encounters with God. My question is, did you ever seek the triune God in your prayer life? I certainly did. So yeah, I was a very devout Christian for about 20 years, and I It was a very relational thing. I was not legalistic. I talked to God all the time. And, I had experiences that I attributed to God at the time. Um, so I did all the things. I like that, Jackie. Uh, well, yeah, GOP, thank you for saying I deserve happiness. I have actually found more happiness outside of the faith. And, that may be different for people. If you find happiness in it, then I'm happy for you. That's great. Renee says, what was the final thing that made you choose to not believe? So I actually didn't choose to not believe. It wasn't a choice. I fought deconstruction the whole way. I wanted to keep believing, and I just wasn't able to. I just got to a point that I just didn't believe anymore, even though I wished I could have. Thanks, Farscape. Yeah, a skeptic says non-duality makes a claim but still waiting for any evidence. Yeah, I guess that also, like, the imagery you're giving is nice imagery, but I'm not connecting to like what it practically means. Yeah, Michelle says, when I was a Christian, I could not ever think of not believing, and here we are. It's not a choice. Yeah, when I was a Christian, I would never have imagined in a million years that I would have stopped believing. Hi, Super Kelly? Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. What has been the hardest part of deconstructing? The loss of community, I think. Thanks, Kelly. Yeah, so I always want to make sure I get everyone's name right, and I don't sometimes. So, Amadeus says, if no faith, then what is there? Isn't it weird that sometimes thinking about my death is the only thing that makes me happy and sad? So I think there are a lot of things that are not faith. You know, I don't think you have to have faith to have a full human experience. Um, but yet, death is really hard to wrap your mind around. So I think I understand that. GOP says, what do you think happens after death? I think nothing. So I think we just cease existing, and that's it. That's my best guess, but I don't know for sure. She's almost done with her carrot. Sophisticated says, hi, what can you say about reincarnation? I don't think I can say a lot. I haven't seen any evidence for it, so it is not my belief. I can't prove it one way or the other, though. Yeah, exactly, skeptic. We cease existing, I think. Hi, Sublime Lizzie. Yeah, so actually, thank you for asking. And the comment right below yours gives you a link to where you can hear that whole story. Hi, Pan. Mr. Wendell says the evidence is in your experience. But that is not my experience. Hey, big girl. How you doing? Fluff, you guys want to meet Ruby? Hey, big doggy. Yeah. Need some scratches. Where's your good girl? Oh, that's Ruby. Yeah, Ruby's the sweetheart. Hi, Benny. Yeah, Ruby's a Great Pyrenees. Would definitely recommend the breed. They're so sweet and gentle. Big, gentle giants. Hi, Tim. I'm in the U.S. GOP says, it's weird to think about not existing. That's scary. I have a fear of death, but I also believe in Jesus. What's the point of all this? How is life possible? Just so many questions. Sure, I can understand that. And it is, like, thinking about not existing is, yeah, uncomfortable, eerie, hard to wrap your brain around. You know, and I definitely don't know the answers to everything. Like, I don't know why is there something rather than nothing. I'm not sure, but I think we have a good grasp of why humans are here. Just the mechanism, like physically how we got here. Maybe not philosophically why. Oh, Tim, a Great Pyrenees Great Dane mix. Oh, I bet that's the loveliest dog. Oh, I love hearing about everybody's dog. Oh, levitating, you have a Pyrenees too. Yay. Oh, well, Stinky, you're so welcome. Yeah, and to be fair, I've had quite a bit of distance, so for anyone currently deconstructing, um, I hadn't thought this all the way out when I was in the process. So I deconstructed back in 2009. So I've had a lot of time, and that helps for sure. Oh, I'm not like Benji. I love that. Hi, Juan. Do you plan on doing another debate live anytime soon? So if you all have TikTok, if you use TikTok, I have done some debate lives on Saturday nights on TikTok. I've been on vacation this week, so I didn't do one yesterday. But so far, I'm doing them once a week on TikTok. I need to figure out how to stream the TikTok onto YouTube simultaneously. I don't know how to do that yet. So if I figure that out, then I'll put the debate on YouTube too. Yeah, GOP says, yeah, like not ever seeing my mom again or fiance or anything. Just talking about this makes me teary-eyed. Life's hard. Sometimes I wish I was never born because this is so overwhelming. Yeah, I can understand that, and I think it's actually an important point that we didn't choose to be born. Life is something that happened to us in that sense, right? We were born without our own consent. And so I do think that changes how you look at religion or a God or justice. because we didn't choose to be here. What are you doing, Roops? Some people find comforting the idea that, you know, if we cease existing after we die, it will just be like before we were born. And before we were born, you know, we weren't suffering, right? It didn't bother us. We don't have pain. And so I think that can be comforting to a lot of people. Levitating says, what gives me peace is that I truly don't know what's after death. I feel like if you think you know what happens, you fear that won't happen. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I get people asking me all the time, like, what if you're wrong? Aren't you afraid of what, you know, if you're wrong? And I think it's entirely likely that I'm wrong. I mean, you know, what the hell do I know, right? But yeah, it doesn't cause me fear. I'm not afraid of being wrong, even though it's probably likely. Yeah, Helping says, if you read the Bible and think about heaven, it doesn't sound like a good time. What if the one person you wanted to spend eternity with didn't make the cut? And how can you have free will in heaven? XLDS. Oh yeah, Panrek. I'm sure that's been quite a journey. Theoden says, my parents thought they were doing something good by bringing me into this world. I'm not having any kids. I wouldn't wish this on anyone against their will. Yeah, that's such a difficult thing to reconcile or to wrestle with, you know, procreation, bringing someone into the world. And in some ways it's beautiful, you know, someone gets to exist who wouldn't have existed otherwise. But I also agree with you that you can't predict how their life is going to go, and what sort of pain they're going to experience. You're welcome, Theoden. Thanks, GOP. I hope you have a good night too. Yeah, Fern says, if I'm wrong and there is a God, I'm confident I've lived as decently as I could manage. If that isn't enough for that God, it isn't a fair God worthy of worship, and I would have likely failed anyway. Yeah, that sounds very reasonable. Yeah, Levitating says, I'm glad that you exist, Theoden. That mindset is what makes you a good person, and we need more good people. That we do. We absolutely need all the good people we can get. Marcus Aurelius said much the same thing. Oh, really? Yeah, David, I mean, there's all kinds of holes in the Noah's Ark story for sure. And most of the holes in the story get answered with magic, basically. Raging says, I don't really understand how you can read the Old Testament and come to the conclusion that God is all good, all loving, and perfectly just. You know, to your point, Raging, I think the vast majority of Christians become Christians first and then read the Old Testament afterwards. And that completely skews how you see that text. You know, they read maybe some of the Gospels, they go to church, their pastor tells them what's in the text, and then it may be months or years before they actually read the whole text for themselves. And so by then you already have such a concrete idea of who you think God is. And so even when it's contradictory right there on the page, it's not even enough to shake that idea, that preconceived idea. Oh, yeah, you know what? Now that you say that, Eric, I feel like I have read that before. Gut says, wait, no preaching allowed, only criticism against Christianity. So, Guts, this is a place for people who need support in their deconstruction process. And if your next question is going to be, why would anyone need support? I hope that you take the time to listen and try to get a sense of what that is like for us, and why we need support. Cheeto says, if there is no God, how do you think we were made? So I think probably the most concise way to answer that is evolution. Levitating says, some of the more Christ-like people I know are no longer Christians. Raging says, I completely agree. And I think that's what I'm going through now. Like, I agree with a lot of Jesus's teachings and morals, but when I get to God the Father, it's a different story. Yeah. And it's, you know, I think that puts a lot of Christians in this really difficult position of like, wait a minute, this God that I'm reading about is so different from the Jesus that I got to know. What do I do with that? And there's a lot of the conversation can be really condescending and demeaning, basically like, oh, real Christians understand. And if you think it's a contradiction, you're just not as good of a Christian as we are. And I think that can be really painful and force you to kind of hide your questions so that you can be like those really enlightened Christians who understand things that you don't. When in fact, it's just how do you manage that cognitive dissonance of God the Father acting one way and Jesus acting totally differently? Good night, Michelle. Nice pen, Rick. Yeah, Fectivin says every Christian has a different doctrine of how to be saved. Some say you can lose salvation, some say you can't, but even if everything makes no sense, I still believe God is real. I wish he is not. Yeah, you know, it is interesting that I think that's evidence that we really don't choose our beliefs. You know, you can't force yourself to believe something, and you can't force yourself to stop believing something. Yeah, I mean, David, I agree with you. There's huge issues with taking the story of Noah and the ark literally. Yeah, levitating there. I mean, there's definitely a huge disconnect between what's written in the Gospels and how, especially Christians in America, are practicing. Stinky says, my view is it's unreasonable to say that a benevolent God that loves all would punish an entire species for one mistake made by one person. If they do, that's not a God worth worshiping. Yeah, fair enough. I think punishing someone else for your mistake is, I don't know how you can say that's just. Yeah, there's a lot of bugs that I don't think should have been saved on the ark, but Noah didn't ask me. Raging says, it seems more probable to me that many Old Testament stories were written to be taken metaphorically or to teach a lesson rather than to be taken literally. Yeah, I mean, it certainly reads like mythology in a lot of ways. Chard says, I believe you can't lose your salvation. It is a gift from God. No one or nothing can pluck you from his hand. So, if that's the case, then salvation is completely up to God, which would make it completely God's responsibility, which means that if anyone goes to hell, it's because of God's choices. What about Chinese natural medicine? What is qi? Um, that's a big topic. Um, as a physiologist, I don't have a way to measure that. So I can't answer that question scientifically. How long do you think it'll take you and Justin to get through the whole Bible? Oh my God, forever. Well, and it's hard. We wanted to get on a schedule of like recording every week, but like summer is hard. We both have different schedules, and yeah, I at this rate, I mean, it will take years and years. I just want to see a sleeping Benny. She blends in with the carpet. Can I zoom in? Does this say? Oh, it zooms. There she is, all stretched out, snoozling. Silly bun. That's just the air conditioning, Rubes. You're okay. Oh, thanks so much, nobody. I appreciate that. Oh, well, listen, it is definitely past my bedtime here, so I had better call it a night. Um, I really appreciate you guys hanging out and for such a lovely conversation. I will be back live on YouTube on Tuesday. And So yes, I'll be back here on Tuesday. I'm on TikTok pretty frequently. So you can come find me over there, same handle. And if you need to like contact me or ask me a question, TikTok's the way to do that. So thank you again. I hope you all have a wonderful night, and I'll see you soon.